Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is JackTheBus and welcome back to a brand new video. I know a lot of you guys are going through withdrawals mixing Blackout like myself, so I'm here today to bring you a list of every single Blackout labeled location ranked worst to best. Now this was probably one of the most difficult lists I've made, as none of the Blackout locations are really bad per se, but all of them do have their pros and cons. For this list, I took into account design of the area, originality, loot amount, and location in relation to everything else. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at NotJackTheBus and you can be included in the shoutouts located in the top right corner. I'm starting to post video updates and channel updates there as well. If you are new to the channel, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that big boy bell so you don't miss daily streams and uploads leading up to the release of Black Ops 4 on October 12th. Let's get into it. Coming in at my least favorite spot in Blackout, Array. Now this may seem rough throwing Array all the way down to number 14, and honestly it isn't terrible. The problem with Array is simply the exposure with looting, not to mention how bland the surrounding area is. You really don't have many options to work with. You can head all the way up north to the houses by construction, which are probably already looted, down to firing range where quite a number of fights take place, or all the way east to Rivertown. Like I said again, this area isn't bad per se. It simply doesn't have much character to it. The only redeeming factor to it is the modeling after Black Ops 1's Array, which seemed to have more character due to the snowy environment. Without it, the area is just a simple radio station. Next on our list, Train Station. Train Station was actually one of my favorite places to land during the beta, just because kind of the vibe of the area, but with that being said, it has a multitude of downsides to it. I enjoyed this area a lot because of the number of players that landed there, but the loot is definitely on the shorter side, with the majority of it being located in the trains outside. While looting, you're extremely exposed for an above average amount of time, and it's very hard to work your way safely to other locations, as many are either a bit far or have already been overrun by other players. Although the train station has some great characteristics to it, its lack and risk of loot as well as distance from other major locations put it in spot number 13. Number 12, Fracking Tower. Fracking Tower is one of those areas where if you don't land first, you're kind of in trouble. The buildings located in it are generally distant from one another and there aren't a crazy number of them. If you are in fact the last to land, make sure you find your way out of there, because whoever comes out of one of those buildings first is definitely going to be looted up quite well. With that being said, if you are in fact one of the first to land, you shouldn't have trouble getting a jump start for the rest of the game. You also have the ability to work off the small group of houses and boxing rings south of Rivertown afterwards. Coming in at spot number 11, Factory. I have just one major gripe with Factory. It's boring. There's maybe one ATV spawn, and if that, that's pretty much it. Sure, the loot's fine and you have the option of moving north or east, but it's just boring. Don't fight me on this one. At spot number 10, we have Firing Range. Firing Range, when the Blackout beta first launched, was an insane hotspot. If you wanted high kill games, this is where you dropped. It's very close quarters and located in a sort of divot, so if you hop right outside of it, you have a pretty general idea of where everyone is. Although the loot may not be particularly amazing and the player drop here may slow down a bit for launch, Firing Range's steady pace of action and centralized location on the map allowing for any kind of rotation put it at spot number 10. Number 9. Cargo Docks. I originally had the Cargo Docks around spot 13, but after playing a few more games at this location, it really started to grow on me. And although the loot is quite spread out, the buildings seem to hold a decent amount along with the ship. The shipping containers provide very useful cover when getting from point A to point B, and the proximity of the location allows very easy boat access to the south side of Nuketown Island or simply right up the river by Fracking Tower. At our number 8 spot, I have Lighthouse. The Lighthouse does have a special place in my heart. This being Call of the Dead, the Lighthouse's original location and one of my favorite zombie maps of all time, so naturally I'm going to love this location. But that's definitely not the only reason why. If you land at Lighthouse alone, you're basically set for the rest of the game. You have a manageable number of zombies to take care of, a ton of space for loot, and even the security of a peninsula. There's also typically an ATV spawn right outside, allowing you maximum time for looting and getting to the zone at a safe pace, and even if you don't have the ATV, there's typically a boat spawn as well. You'll have to fight over the box, and whoever finds better armor or a weapon first wins. Not to mention how you have to keep track of your opponent as well as the undead. Turbine takes spot number 7. Turbine has been very hit or miss for me. Yeah, there's a helicopter spawn, and there's a very good chance you'll leave looted up, but the engagements are kinda awkward. If another player lands here, you'll either see them first or they'll definitely see you first. Turbine holds a higher spot, however, due to the fact that it's kind of a safe landing, shelters a helicopter and other ground vehicles, and generally it's just an all-around safe bet as far as looting goes. It's also very isolated from other locations, so you definitely know if someone's coming. Number 6. Rivertown. Rivertown is kind of like the retail row of Blackout. You're going to always find a decent amount of loot, and it's a pretty central location, but it's very safe to say a decent amount of players do land here. Anytime a large location is centralized, there will almost definitely be a set amount of players that rely on this area as a backup landing. With that being said, Rivertown does take spot number 6 due to its large amount of loot, but like Firing Range, you as a player have so many options to work off of it. No matter where the zone moves, you have a very safe bet on making it there in time. Rivertown is basically just a less chaotic Firing Range. Estates takes spot number 5 with its more isolated houses, holding a few ATVs and a great amount of loot. Typically in squad games, this is where my team and I would land. Generally, we wouldn't get more than one team with us, and when we did, they would almost always land at the house opposite of ours. Estates is a very safe bet with its covered looting, isolated location, and option to choose between two different smaller POIs. Coming into spot number 4 is Asylum, or as many of you know it, Verrucht. This area features the one main asylum, along with a maze on the side, a house behind it, a greenhouse out back, and a cemetery a bit south. The sheer amount of loot available at this location is what shoots it to spot number 4. Not only does it have one mystery box location, but 2 if you count the cemetery close by. Although the extra zombies add a bit of a challenge, the larger risk brings greater reward. If a bunch of opponents land here, sure, it'll be complete mayhem, but if you manage to only have to deal with 1 or 2 along with the zombies, you should walk out with a pretty nice loadout as well as many options as far as directions go. Number 3 is the construction site. Now, full transparency, the construction site was by far my favorite landing spot in the beta. What was yours? Let me know down below for a chance to be featured in my next video. Anyways, back to the location. The construction site, being one of the largest and tallest POIs on the map, is going to have an insane amount of loot. The multiple levels on the building allow for easy access off with your wingsuit and even up with several small elevators on both sides. There's even a helicopter spawn near the top, allowing even more exit routes from the location. With this monstrous POI, however, comes with a decent amount of enemies. There wasn't a single time during the beta that I landed here and had no players land with me. You'll always fight for loot and vehicles here, but if you manage to stand your ground, you'll be very well set for the rest of the game. Number 2, Nuketown Island. One word: bunker. The glamour of Nuketown Island is hidden beneath the surface. In the houses above ground, you won't find much besides an AR here and there. The real treasure is in the bunker below. In this bunker, you'll find an arsenal of loot, not to mention the security of having only 2 ways to keep track of most of the time. There are also several vehicle spawns on the island, including a helicopter, typically 2 boats, and 2 land vehicles. Even with its isolation to the rest of the map, Nuketown proves to have many viable options to escape before the zone closes in. And I mean, come on. It's Nuketown. I know I'm gonna have a lot of people not agree with me on this one, but it's okay. At my number 1 spot, I have the Hydro Dam. Now, hear me out. Not only do maybe 1 or 2 opponents at the most drop here, but you also have the 4 small buildings northeast of the dam, as well as the 2 medical center type buildings northwest. Even if you land at the dam, pick up a few things and head northwest, you'll still have a huge chance of finding at least 1 crate or gold weapon. That is, if anyone even lands there. Since it has such an outlying location, if the heli does not go right past it, you're typically free to loot alone. It also has many ATVs right outside, allowing for a quick travel to the zone in case of a southwest rotation. The lack of opponents and free ability to loot such an insanely large area put the Hydro Dam at our number 1 spot. Thanks for watching. Make sure you drop a like, and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit that big boy bell so you don't miss all the daily uploads and streams. Let me know down in the comments your list. Do you agree with me? I'll look through them and pick my favorite one. Anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.